Hi, afternoon, everyone. Am I audible? All right. What a lovely panel we had, and my picture really looked very lonely. So, yeah, we'll try to then cover for me talking to the lovely audience here. We've heard some very, very good insights from our previous panelists and the morning sessions on AI and how the use cases have been. Um, I also thought when we were connecting with BW team that what really Bata is doing in the last 3-4 years, we've taken a leaps and leaps of jump on developing the experience around AI and tech, and it could be good use cases. Nothing that you will hear new, but what matters really is facts matter. They register better. So we thought it will be good to share some of what at Bata India we do. So as we all know, Bata India is the biggest shoemaker for the world and in India also. I've been with Bata for over 3 years. Bata historically in India has been 80 plus years, and we've gone through several changes in automation, be it manufacturing, retail, and various other enabling channels. What keeps us being the market leader, what keeps us is how we continuously change the employee or customer experience, which matters the most to any retailer organization. But what we saw in opportunity area, for our employees, our experience was not as fast, as agile as we were doing with our consumer organization or the consumer ecosystem. So what I have here for you is how we are using AI, how we are using AI-powered HR experience from end-to-end, the hire-to-retire journey, and how it's helping us. So here we go. What we're saying is HR no longer is about processes. If today, as HR teams, we are speaking about processes, I think it's high time that we look at what kind of an HR setup we have, which means we are at a very baseline of HR. If in your day-to-day discussions, you're still developing processes, if you're still talking about SOPs, TATs, structures, audits, yeah, they're good for compliance. But if that's going to be daily, then there's a big challenge that you should highlight. It's a red flag. And that's not what HR teams should be spending their time, but it's more about the intelligence that you get out of those processes and the data insights. So that's what AI powers you with. The second is AI transforming HR into a more proactive strategic powerhouse, and how does it do it? Why do you need an AI? Yes, it gives you speed, efficiency, inciting, many things that probably many humans put together may not be able to do it. Which means that leaves us as HR teams to drive the strategic, more complex, and the white spaces better, because that's not what AI can do. The third piece that AI can really, it's just not automation, it is, but it's just not that, it's very insight driven. So please use any digital and not technical solution. So the difference between a technical solution and a digital solution is where the inciting comes from. Pick up an application or build an application which gives you inciting. At the end, if you are sitting and trying to find what data is talking to you, what is the messages coming from the data, then we are not being digitally armed. So these three key areas in HR, if we are able to build a baseline, the insights-driven approach leading to a more strategic powerhouse with support of intelligence will absolutely up your game as HR professionals. So that's really the summary. And are we ready for this? A very quick view how we do some of these AI-driven experience across our hire-to-retire journey. It's more the experience here. What we do is right from our pre-onboarding recruitment, background verification, hiring, complete onboarding, complete performance and development programs, retention. As retail, we need to continuously be on training. It's not once a year, once a 6 months. It's an everyday thing for us. Retention, a very big one. Again, being a retail organization, In fashion, both for enabling teams, product teams, sales team is a big one. Rewards and recognition, more around inciting what my employees are really feeling. And finally, the offboarding and including alumni management. All of these programs and sub-programs have been fully digitalized. Unfortunately, we don't have one single system, but we are in a journey that where we can build this or at least integrate that into one single system, and of course, the entire inciting that comes in. I'll talk about a couple of them a little more. So we've heard some examples earlier in the day about technology in talent acquisition space. We hire a lot. We have 10,000 employees. Retail attrition is 30% upwards for the store teams. Enabling teams is at an average of 15 to 18%. And we are driving growth engines. We always are in look for talent that can drive fashion, lifestyle, strategy, because it's a very fast-paced industry. And therefore, the strategic mindset of my TA team needs to be more proactive, needs to be more out there, understanding what kind of talent is coming from where. So while we automated it and we got a nice application support, it's not only speeding up the process, but today it's DIY. My managers, hiring managers are absolutely independent of the TA team. They raise the requisition, they have their approval process on it, they know where the vacancies are lying in the entire process, they know which type of candidates are applying, what are they saying about the interview process, so it's also a feedback to them. We are also giving candidates the feedbacks in terms of whether we are closing in with them or we are moving on with some other candidates. The entire pre-onboarding process is all DIY, do it yourself. Which means my TA team is just monitoring, like the ATC tower team, and seeing what's really going on in my TA ecosystem, talent acquisition system. Working with business leaders, not on process, but where are those retention roles that the talent management team is facing issue that they can proactively start searching for? Or what are competition or new roles that are coming in the industry that will up our game on strategic levers. And that's why a very lean, small TA team is able to drive the attrition that creates vacancies and a complete automated process, which is very, very transparent and efficient. So that's one use case. The second use case, one of the panelists spoke earlier in the day about the digital business partner. Again, for us, being a very, very widespread organization in terms of employees across more than 500 cities. We have 2,000 plus point of sale stores. How do you really get the pulse of your employees? How many ever HR business partner teams we keep, we will not get the pulse the way we would want it. And again, how do we make it DIY? How do we like keep it HR manual fed free, right? So then HR is not following processes, it's more dealing with complex issues. See, we got a nice application, which is a voice bot which connects based on your organization needs at different milestones with employees. Pre-onboarding, onboarding, post-onboarding, at different tenures, at different milestones, say if there's a role change or a big event has happened in the reorganization in their function, or we can pick up an event where we feel there are some changes. Here, this chatbot will connect with you, and they're personalized that it actually looks like a colleague is talking to you. And we use that chatbot not only for connecting with them, picking their pulse, but she is actually talking to them to drive some of my cultural levers, some of our cultural levers. And it is giving me inciting, it's giving the HODs and the CEO inciting what my employees are feeling today. And there's a very interesting question that she asks every time. Would you recommend the organization to your friends, colleagues to hire from, which we know is called the NPS. In our case, it's called ENPS, Employee Net Promoter Score. And we've taken a very tall target with all our leadership team that all of us will have this score as part of our objectives. Not on the engagement, because that's an easy one to do, but do every employee of my organization feels that they are promoting, they are a promoter and not a passive or detractor, if we understand the NPS format. We all understand how NPS works. When you buy a product, you get a survey and we kind of rate. So it's for people who may not remember, it's a 10 rating scale. And for whatever reason, if you choose 9 and 10, then you're a promoter of the product service. You've really liked it, so you come on the green side. If you choose the score between 6 to 8, you're a passive incumbent or a user. And if you choose anything 5 and below, it's a detractor. That means you've not enjoyed the product or service. How NPS is calculated or ENPS is calculated? Promoters, total number, so out of 100 people, if 20 have, or rather 50 has said 9 and 10, 20 have said 6 to 8, which are passive, and the remaining 30 will say we are below 5, scored below 5. So 50 minus 30, which is your promoters minus detractors, which is a score of 20. Passives don't get counted, which is 30. My score is my NPS score. It's a very simple formula. So promoters minus detractors. And if my employees don't feel excited about referring the organization at any point of time, they will not rate me 9 and 10. They may be at the fence rating me 7, 8. Or if they're really unhappy, they'll go below 6. Which is telling each of my leadership team and me as HR, what's the problem? So they're not engaged. So taking up tall targets, solving complex issues, and it can actually get into negative scoring. And good organizations have scores between 30 to 50. Of course, there are teams that are 100 also, but there are teams which are in negative. And there as HR, we intervene, we work with the HODs, we understand where the issue is. We would never know this if we didn't have this digital business partner with us. Right? This is one. She also highlights to us is PTM, people to meet, right? As business partners, we're very intuitive. We try to find, okay, somebody is not really looking very happy, engaged, looks like a simple, let's connect and talk. That's what we do as business partners also. What she does is very logically, once understanding the trend and the mindset of the employee, will highlight, these are the red flags, these are the PTM cases. Please go and meet them. And these are the issues they have said, whether it's compensation, training, manager, work environment, whatever. And that helps us to have a very direct dialogue through HR or through the line manager. How do you help the employees? The best part about this application is it's not anonymous. And that surprises, right? We were also very surprised. I said, why would people answer if it's not anonymous? They would not raise an issue. And then we realized people want to express. They express in an incorrect platform with their colleagues, with their friends, with people who probably can't help or probably make their problem even more worse. Something like trolling without revealing your identity. And it's also not on the hindsight help the organization, because eventually if the problem is not addressed, the employee would leave and cause more problems. So please identify yourself and help us through. Of course, very limited people have individual case or individual reports access. For many, it's masked. But employees are clearly seeing that these are the 4 people who are going to have access to my inputs. So they're raising to the HR head, they're raising to the HOD, they're raising to the CEO. And that's the right forum to address. Now, if this set of 3, 4 people are not able to help you, then something is not right in the organization, right? And that makes the organization transparent, trusted. That's what we're trying to game for. So there are many, many benefits of having a digital HR business partner, which we can use, support, if dealt well. Again, it's DIY. HR is not into any reports. It's an automated emailers that comes every 15 days, see that's what's happening in your organization. And it also tells us what's working well, what's not working well, which is an employee. So we absolutely don't know what this application is sending to which HOD. So it's completely DIY. Of course, it also helps us carve out categories of employees, demographics basis on retention. So if you have high performers or you have high potential or you have critical talent, we slice and dice data and see how are they feeling, or on diversity or on a new department. So we see that how many of my detractors have actually become passives and promoters. Are they reducing? Are they increasing? My PTM cases, have they increased or they have decreased? Do I see some trend? So we spend a lot of time talking about how to solve a people issue and not how to identify a people issue or validate a people issue. So that's a journey we've taken. We spoke about NPS, happy employee, stronger business performance, and it was a little difficult for all of us to take it, but we love it now. What are the key business outcomes that we've seen with this? Specifically, we thought it will be good for the forum to know. We've seen 80% of high performance which were at risk retained. And that was a huge revelation that the team, the business, people analytics team told us. That my retention, all my high performers who were probably detractors or they were PTM or they were not feeling good about the organization, by addressing in a structured way, identifying and then addressing, I was able to retain 80% of them. And this is facts, so nobody can debate. I'll just take one more minute. Second is efficiency, 12x improvement. My business partner to employee ratio is much more wider, more structured. Employees at risk to brand ambassador, which is detractors to actually becoming promoters. And finally, benchmarking versus, the average resolution time. They also tell us that you are very slow in closing your PTM cases, or are you fast? Are you doing well? So it keeps us on our toes, all of us, right? So these are some business benefits. There are many more. So at Bata India, AI doesn't follow the trend, it sets them. So we actually trend setting in the employee experience ecosystem, empowering us to craft a smarter, stronger, and an extremely agile organization. That's all from Bata. Thank you. Questions, if we have time. One question? Yes, please. Sorry, you want to give a mic to him?
Bata is a traditional organization and culture has been set in for a longer period of time. And these kind of initiatives, for example, replacing engagement survey with a voice bot, measuring the milestones of employees, how do they react. And I was very happy when you showed the results. But somewhere, the leaders have to take it up, leaders have to act on it, because somewhere, over a period of time, the culture has been set in Bata, and this is a huge culture shift. How did you manage this culture shift? That's one. Second, in terms of your voice bot, giving you insights and all those things, there should be somewhere a sort of a focus group discussion to validate why the people have reacted the way they have reacted. So that validation process, it is happening in Bata or what? There's a couple of questions.
Sure, thanks for the question. Culture change takes long time, but mindset change is short term. If you're able to articulate, and leaders are smart, and that's why they're leaders. If you're able to articulate the business case to them, that you will be spending less time on your people issues and more time on business, they would love to. And if this is going to help them, why will they not? So they all jumped on the opportunity. It's just how you present the opportunity. And if you're convinced as HR, then there's nothing, no way you cannot convince your business leader. Some were reluctant on taking the tall targets, that I've agreed. But when we said, okay, kya ho jayega? It's not going to impact too much of our workforce. Okay, we'll try efforts. Let's take a tall. Let's not take suboptimal. That's the best thing about Bata leadership team. They don't take suboptimal targets. Right? So if we start with suboptimal, we'll be even probably going down. There's a probability. So we say something which is optimal. Let's go for it. And when we did that, we said, and some pockets did well, some pockets didn't do well. And we started exchanging practices. What you did better, that your scores actually jumped up, and there's another function that couldn't really, actually the scores went down. So it's actually Bringing leadership conversations come together on people agenda and helping drive people agenda without me talking about it, but they are more conversational on a topic. That has brought culture change. Yes, please. This is Infido Amber. For stores, we have a separate one. No, that is Skillsoft. Yeah. All right, we had a question here. Yes.
We'll just take that one. When can you get offline, please?
Yes,
Just a request.
I'll
So
be
sorry.
around, yeah.
Just a quick one. In your slide, we saw that earlier it was 1:345, and now with the voice bot, it is 1:29. So just wanted to understand the reference around that.
You're talking about the business partner ratio.
Yeah, correct.
Right?
So it
So
was
if you go
before
back to
bot
that slide.
1:345, after bot 1:29. Yeah.
Yeah, so because now the bot, we are only addressing the PTM cases. Bot has already touched my remaining 270 odd people who are green, who are doing well. So that's where it comes to. I don't go to everybody and say, hey, how are you doing? Are you happy, not happy? We only address the problem.
So it's just the reduction in the touch point.
Concentration to address the touch point where the problem lies.
So whatever bot is highlighting it across to you, and that's the touch
Yeah.
point that you're doing, and hence
And
you've
that's
drawn the inference.
absolutely, and that's only for the challenge areas, for the business partner. Of course, business partner does many things, but when it comes to the employee connect and solving an employee issues, that's the.
All right, thank you.
All right. All right, so thank you so much for being a lovely audience, and I'm around, we can talk.